Let me start with where I stand. We have done this together every week for years, and I am more bullish on our position than I have ever been. And here is my number. This is not my first time putting a number on this. I have given targets before, and we keep blowing right past them. But now that I see where this is really headed, I realize we have all been thinking far too small. This is my personal conviction, not a promise or a guarantee. I believe hype reaches $700 within the next 2 years. We are on the edge of exponential growth, and we are front-running it right now. Start with where it already sits. Strip out the stable coins. And Hyperliquid is already the 7th biggest network in all of crypto. Ahead of it, only Bitcoin, Ethereum, BNB, XRP, Solana, and Tron. And of those 6, only Ethereum is a real contender. The rest are older networks running on old stories, while this one is younger, growing faster, and actually earning real money. Closing that gap is most of the move. So let me show you the whole thing in one screen. This entire company is about 11 people, and more than $4.8 trillion has traded through the software they built. It's already the number 10 crypto asset in the world. You followed Hyperliquid with me for a year now. So I'll skip the intro and get straight to it. Because this quarter, something broke open, and most people haven't caught it yet. Start right here. Over the same 8 months, look at what happened to everyone else. Bitcoin fell 42%, Ethereum 54%, Solana 58%. Every giant got cut roughly in half. And in that exact same window, Hyperliquid went up 30%. It was the only major network that climbed while the whole market bled. When one thing rises while everything else is dumping, you pay very close attention. It went up while Bitcoin crashed. That's not a coin along for the ride. That's a company outrunning its own market. And it's not just the price. The people showed up too. Weekly active traders went from 45,000 a year ago to 230,000 today, a 5 times jump to an all-time high. In the same stretch, Bitcoin fell 43%. Price can be noise. A wall of new users voting with their feet is signal. So what changed? First, it flipped. The markets other people built on top of it now do most of the trading. Second, it's going legit. A real US law that gives it clear rules just cleared a Senate committee, and it's on the calendar for a floor vote. Third, it's going global. Stocks, gold, oil, and currencies are already trading right next to crypto. On the same rails, when war news gapped oil over a weekend, traders who normally use the CME came here because it was one of the only markets still open. Put those together, and you're watching the house of all finance get built in real time. And after all of that, the whole thing is still valued at only about $15 billion. So hear me out. To me, this isn't late. It's the first inning. Let me show you the machine under the price. Frame it right, this isn't a coin. It's a company with a product and real paying customers. And it got built the way real companies get built, one piece at a time, in order. First, a spot exchange where you buy and sell outright. Then Perpetuals, so you can go long or short with leverage. Then it launched its own blockchain to run all of it. Then the big one, HIP-3, where anyone in the world can build their own market on top of it. And this is that flip. Take the last 24 hours of trading and split it by who built the market. The orange bar is markets outside teams built with HIP-3. The blue bar is Hyperliquid's own exchange. The outsiders are now the bigger half, 54 to 46. It became a platform this quarter. That's the whole game. A platform, not a product. Nobody there has to build all of it themselves. Now the receipts, $1.42 billion in fees, already collected on real trades, not projected, collected. Open interest is the money actually at work on the platform right now. At the end of 2024, it was about $3 billion. Today, it's $10.3 billion, more than triple in 18 months. Nobody parks that kind of money on a venue they don't trust. And here's why they trust it. On October 10th, 2025, the market had its worst day in history. $19 billion liquidated in a single day. 1.6 million traders wiped out. $670 billion gone. Binance, Coinbase, and Kraken buckled, with outages and frozen screens right when people needed out. Hyperliquid stayed up the whole time. Zero downtime. Its hardest stress test ever, and it never blinked. When it mattered most, it just worked. That's the kind of thing that turns a trader into a lifer. There's about $6 billion of capital sitting on the platform, and this is the part people miss. That's tiny. Look at the scale. Hyperliquid holds about $6 billion. All of DeFi today, every chain combined, is $72 billion, and it has not even recovered its 2021 high, which was near $180 billion. So just getting back to a normal market is a multiple from here. And the traditional markets it wants to eat hold more than $250 trillion. The migration has barely started. The banks, the funds, the institutions sitting on trillions have barely stepped on chain. When even a sliver of that money moves, it lands on venues like this one. And it all runs on one simple loop. More markets get built. More markets, more volume. More volume, more fees. And here is the engine. 99% of every fee this platform earns goes straight into buying back the token. No company on earth does that. And when revenue spikes, that buying goes parabolic. Now the absurd part. Revenue per employee. The two little bars are the CME and Coinbase, the giants. The orange bar is Hyperliquid, about $75 million per person. 45 times the CME, 50 times Coinbase. That's what software with no offices does to legacy finance. And across the whole on-chain market, Hyperliquid is 35.7% of all perpetual trading. The number one venue, not by a nose, by a mile. And here is how much it actually earns. Strip out the stablecoin issuers, and over the last 30 days, Hyperliquid was the number one fee-earning protocol in all of crypto. More than any other chain, any exchange, any app. And remember, 99% of that goes straight into buying back hype. So here's the real question. How big can this get? And one honest caveat, just this once. Everything from here is a scenario. My own conviction, not a guarantee. All right, let me make the case. Today, the market values the whole company at about 18 times its yearly revenue. A slow legacy exchange like the CME trades near 13. You're paying a small premium for something growing many times faster. The whole case rests on one thing. Revenue keeps compounding. And it will, because the money is leaving the slow, closed, gated old venues for the fast, open one. So run the math. If revenue grows 10 times as that money migrates, and the market pays the same multiple it already pays, the company worth $15 billion today is worth around $150 billion. That's a 10 times in the value of the company. And that's the conservative version because it ignores the two biggest tailwinds coming. First, Bitcoin. If this cycle takes Bitcoin toward a level like 250,000, the whole crypto market re-rates upward with it. Second, when Bitcoin runs, liquidity floods into DeFi. Volumes explode, fees explode. And this is the venue capturing the most of it. Now line those triggers up. Clarity passes. Rate cuts arrive. Liquidity comes back on. And a young platform growing this fast doesn't climb in a straight line. It goes vertical. That's the shape adoption takes. An S-curve. And I think we're still sitting right down here at the knee, about to bend up. And this is what has me leaning forward. These triggers aren't far off. The bill's already cleared committee and it's on the calendar. To me, this move could start in weeks or months, not years. We're sitting on the edge of a very big move, early coiled and about to matter. And here's the simplest way to frame the prize. Hyperliquid today is about $15 billion. Ethereum, the platform it's chasing down, is worth around $211 billion. So just catching Ethereum from here is already more than a 10 times. And if it takes even a slice of the $250 trillion sitting in traditional markets, now you're talking about the 100x. 10 times just to catch Ethereum, 100 times if it does to old finance what it's already doing to crypto. That's the size of what we're looking at. And here is the real tell. Everyone tried to copy this. Rivals gave trading away for free just to steal the users. It did not work. The users stayed right here on the platform that actually charges for the product. That is the kind of loyalty you cannot buy, and it is the deepest moat in crypto. So, bottom line, under this price is a real, fast-growing business, wired straight to its own token, and still in the first inning. So where does this actually go? Picture buying the best company of the last decade back in its second year before the rest of the world understood it. That is what this feels like to me. This is not a trade to flip. It is a position to hold for years, maybe the whole decade, while it grows into the giant it is becoming. 11 people, the seventh biggest network in crypto, and in my view, still just getting started. I have never been more bullish, and we are already here, early, holding it,